Now, I did a little bit of house cleaning off camera and got rid of all of the visible tracks in my project. And in this tutorial, I want to talk about presets versus patches. So I'm going to create two software instrument tracks with an empty channel strip. And I'm going to follow that with a audio track. So I use the shortcut Option Command A. So on the first track, I'm going to go ahead and select it and load in a patch. Let's just go, let's do something different here. Let's go to B3 organ and choose light or jazz organ here. That doesn't give me a lot. Let's choose something else. Let's go to orchestral strings. See what romance strings gives me. Cool. So I got an ESX24, I got an EQ chorus plugin, and one send. Okay, so I loaded in a patch for this particular channel strip. Now, I've mentioned a couple of times during the course that the key focus in these arrows tell you what the library is pertaining to. And in this case, the library is pointing to the very top of the channel strip, where you have what patches used to be called channel strip settings in older versions of Logic. And you could go into this menu, and you still can. You can save a channel strip setting. Channel strip setting is very similar to what a patch is. It basically saves all of the settings you have in the actual channel strip, and you can load it on another channel strip in another project. Patches just made that process a whole lot easier because we could just select it from the library. This arrow pointing to the top, the patches will give me, as you already know, all types of different plugins. It could be a MIDI effect, an instrument, audio effects, and routing. But if I take this arrow, as you see as I mouse down, these arrows pop up against different things, the audio effects and the instrument. And if I had a MIDI effect in here, I think it would pop up there also. So let's change that arrow and point it here. So now that this arrow is pointing here, your library is now giving me presets for the ESX24 virtual instrument. Basically, everything that I could find in this menu here, actually, not that menu, in this menu on the ESX24, acoustic pianos, bass, drums, all of these presets are now over here. Let me get out of orchestral, go back. Here's the top category, acoustic pianos. The same as you see over here, acoustic piano and all of the pianos. So these just load patches for this particular instrument. I want strings. Only things that's changing are the patches for this instrument. None of the audio effects, none of the routing. Guitars, Hawaiian ukulele, that should be interesting. All right. World sounds, North American. Gotta choose some Native American flute. So these are loading patches for the ESX24. Now, if I take that arrow and pop it down here and point it towards the channel EQ, now my library changes to presets for EQ. So let's say, for instance, it just depends on what I'm EQing. If I'm EQing keyboards, I can select that and go in here and say, hey, it's a piano. And it will give me a patch or a preset for EQ for piano. Gritty piano looks a little different, right? Maybe I should change this back to a piano so it makes a little bit more sense. Go here, go back to the top categories, acoustic pianos. Let's do the Yamaha Grand. All right. So now this EQ, let's do a grand piano here. So as these arrows point to audio effects or instruments, they become presets over here instead of patches. Presets for the selected plugin, audio effect, or virtual instrument. Just for example, let's go here and change this to a reverb. We'll do Space Designer. And I'm going to point this at Space Designer, move this over here. So again, everything that I can find here, large spaces, medium spaces, small spaces, so forth and so on, is easily accessible in the library because now I'm selecting presets for Space Designer. Patches are when you're pointed to the very top of the channel strip and you create a patch, meaning it could encompass MIDI effects, instruments, audio effects, and routing. And presets are when you are being very specific and you're pointing at a specific virtual instrument or a specific plugin and changing presets for that particular item.